Action. When in a group or public setting, you think every little nuance of your behavior.
You are not so smart. Chapter 29, The Spotlight Effect. You spill a drink at a party, you get a mustard stain on your shirt, your forehead is breaking out in spots on the day you have to do a presentation. Oh no, what will people think? Chances are they won't think anything. Most people won't notice at all, and if they do, they probably disregard and forget your imperfections and faux pas within seconds. You lost some weight, buy a new pair of jeans, and stretch through doors expecting some sort of acknowledgement. Perhaps you get a new haircut or buy a new watch. You spend an extra 15 minutes in front of a mirror expecting the world to notice. You spend so much time thinking about your own body, your own thoughts and behaviors, you begin to think other people must be noticing too. The research says they aren't, at least not nearly as much as you are. When in your group or public setting, you think every little nuance of your behavior is under scrutiny by everyone else. The effect is even worse if you must stand on a stage or go out with someone for the first time. You can't help but be the center of your universe, and you find it difficult to judge just how much other people are paying attention, since you are paying attention to you all the time. When you start to imagine yourself in the audience, you believe every little mistake is amplified. You are not so smart when it comes to dealing with crowds because you are too egocentric. Fortunately, everyone else is just as egocentric, and they are just as convinced that they are being scrutinized. The spotlight effect was studied at Cornell in 1996 by Thomas Gilovich, who researched the degree to which people believe their actions and appearance are noticed by others. He had university students put on t-shirts featuring the smiling face of Barry Manilow and then knocked on the door to a classroom where other subjects were filling out a questionnaire. When you are late to a lecture or to work, or walk into a crowded cinema or nightclub, you feel as if all eyes are on you, judging and criticizing. These students had to share their normal clothes for a shirt with a giant Barry Manilow head beaming back out into the world. So Gilovich hypothesized they would feel an especially strong version of the spotlight effect when they had to walk into the classroom. Each person did this, and they walked over and spoke with the researcher for a moment. The researcher then pulled up a chair and told the embarrassed subject to sit down, but right as they did, they were told to stand back up and were then led out for a debriefing. They asked the subjects to estimate how many people noticed their shirts. The people wearing the embarrassing attire figured about half of the people in the room saw it and noticed how awful it was. When the researchers then asked the people in the classroom to describe the subject, about 25% recalled seeing Manilow. In a situation designed to draw attention, only a quarter of the observers noticed the odd clothing choice, not half. Gilovich repeated the experiment, but this time allowed the students to pick a cool shirt depicting Jerry Seinfeld, Bob Marley, or Martin Luther King. In this one, the estimates were the same. They thought about half of the class saw their awesome shirts. Less than 10% did. This suggests the spotlight effect is strong for both positive and negative images of yourself. But the real world is far less likely to give a shit when you are trying to look cool. Gilovich has repeated his work on crowded New York streets, and although people felt as if a giant spotlight was shining down, illuminating their tiny place in the world, and all eyes were upon them, in reality, most people didn't notice them at all. The spotlight effect leads you to believe everyone noticed when you drive around town in your new expensive car. They don't. After all, the last time you saw an awesome car, do you remember who was driving it? Do you even remember the last time you saw an awesome car? This feeling extends into other situations as well. For instance, if you are playing Guitar Hero or singing karaoke or doing anything where you feel your actions are being monitored by others, you tend to believe every up and down of your performance is being catalogued and critiqued. Not so. You will apologize or make fun of yourself in an attempt to soften the blows, but it doesn't matter. In 2001, Gilovich had subjects play a competitive video game and rate how much attention they thought their teammates and opponents were paying to their performance. He found people paid lots of attention to how they themselves were doing, but almost no attention to others. While playing, they felt like everyone else was keeping up with how good they were at the game. Research shows people believe others see their contributions to conversation as being memorable, but they aren't. You think everyone noticed when you stumbled in your speech, but they didn't. Well, unless you drew attention to it by over-apologizing. The next time you get a pimple on your forehead, or buy a new pair of shoes, or tweet about how boring your day is, don't expect anyone to notice. You are not so smart or special.
Back up. I think every little nuance of your behavior is under scrutiny by everyone else. Did you do it?
Yeah.
Oh. You think every little nuance of your behavior.
You are not so smart. Chapter 29, the spotlight effect. You spill a drink at a party. Your forehead is breaking out in spots on you.
Okay. Very good.